Hi, my name is Parker Entz, and today I'm going to give you a brief product tour of Jump. I thought first I'd give you a quick overview of kind of where Jump came from. So our team started building Jump when an RIA that we knew asked us to try to apply some of the recent advances in AI to some of the problems that they'd been dealing with for many years. In fact, they essentially told us, we've got this list of things that we've been trying to automate for a long time, and we want great meeting notes, but we don't want to write them. We want great emails that we send to our clients after the meeting. We don't really want to write them. We don't want tasks to fall through the cracks. We would like to be totally present in the meeting and not typing while we're trying to focus on the client. We definitely don't want to spend 40 minutes or 15 to 40 minutes after each meeting typing up meeting notes and entering data into our CRM. And having said all that, if the SEC shows up and does an audit of our documentation of all these meetings we've had with clients, we would like them to like what they find so we can move through that audit quickly and painlessly. And so we said, well, what have you tried so far? And they walked us through the evolution of the different things that they had tried to make meetings more efficient. They said, we used to hire assistants or paraplanners or junior advisors to sit in the meetings and take notes and do some of this work. Some of our advisors use CopyTalk or Mobile Assistant, take kind of a dictation approach, which is great, but it's not really totally solving the problem. And then some advisors were experimenting with things like Fathom, Fireflies, Zoom AI, Teams AI. And they said, these are very promising. They give us a summary. They give us a task list. But our advisors have found that because these tools are not designed for advisors, we end up rewriting a lot of the summary. And then we also have to do a lot of copying and pasting, especially if we're trying to do advanced things like generate summaries with ChatGPT. It starts turning into this Rube Goldberg machine of get a transcript from Zoom, copy and paste it into ChatGPT, paste in some prompts, get that out, put that into the CRM. And really what we'd like is for this all to be in one place. And so this led to Jump. And so Jump's goal is to help advisor teams cut meeting admin time dramatically while elevating the experience for the client and also making the advisor's life easier. And the way that we do that is we essentially use generative AI to put notes and tasks and meeting compliance on autopilot. And when we started designing Jump, we said, this needs to be made for advisors. It needs to be super easy to set up. It needs to be completely customizable for each advisor's unique style and the way that they like to format their notes and their emails. And then, of course, because we're dealing with secure financial information and personal information, this data has to be secure and everything needs to be compliant. And it also needs to work with the existing software stack that each advisor already has in place. And so we said, well, what would it look like if we applied AI to each part of the meeting cycle, both before the meeting, during the meeting, and also after the meeting? And we said it'd be great if AI could help us prepare for the meeting. It'd be great if AI could help capture all the content that's discussed during the meeting. And then after the meeting, if it can help us get a 95% of the way there draft on all of the different things that we need to do after the meeting. The CRM note, financial planning data that needs to be extracted and moved somewhere, task list that needs to be handled, recap email. And for larger firms with many advisors, scorecards or best practices, making sure that those meetings are of high quality and represent the firm well. So this is a pretty standard example of a setup that we see, the way that advisors are using Jump. You can see there's a mix of virtual meetings and in-person meetings. On virtual meetings, our customers are sending the AI note taker to the meeting. It works with Zoom, Teams, RingCentral, Google Meet. And for in-person meetings, they're capturing it either with our iPhone app. They can also record with their laptop. They can upload an audio file. They can also use the Apple built-in voice memo app and send that audio. So lots of ways to get audio into Jump. We take that audio and we turn it into a transcript, and then we pass that transcript through a series of AI automations. And you can see what some of the automations are here. In this example, it's a meeting note, tasks, recap email. It's also a one-pager that arrives before the meeting to help refresh. And I think what we've really seen is the low-hanging fruit of putting this into place is the time savings. So it's delivering quality outputs for each of these items and being able to get that time after the meeting down pretty dramatically. So next, I'd like to show you an example of Jump and kind of walk you through the different features and show you what it can do. So we've tried to make it pretty easy to use. You just sign in with your Google account or with your Outlook account, and we go ahead and authorize that way. So when we first set up an advisor, they're going to go ahead and connect the software that they're already using. We're currently integrated with Salesforce, Wealthbox, and Redtail. We have other CRM integrations in the works, so if you've got a different CRM that you're using, just let us know. If you're using a different version of Salesforce, like Accelerate, Practify, Quiver, Finance Service Cloud, those are all fine as well. So we're going to tie to the CRM. I should also mention if you're using a CRM that we're not integrated with, that's okay. There's some workarounds there. integrated with the different meeting options for capturing meetings. And then for calendar, both Google Workspace as well as Outlook. So once we're connected to the meeting, the assistant is now able to see upcoming meetings, and it can schedule the AI note taker to show up to your virtual meetings. So you can see here we've got these upcoming meetings. The AI note taker is scheduled. And then for in-person meetings, you can start a recording from here, upload an audio file. And as I mentioned, we also have the iPhone app if you want to do it that way. Once the meeting's been recorded, the advisor can come in, see the list of the meetings that have already been captured. And then this is the post-meeting page. So a lot of different tools and ways to make it easier to work with the content that you gather during the meeting. So the first thing that I'll highlight is the core note. So this is just one example of a note. Everything in Jump is highly customizable. So when you onboard, part of that process is providing examples of what you want your notes to look like. And the AI assistant will copy that format, and it will copy your writing style and how long the notes are, if it's mostly bullet points or paragraphs. It doesn't really matter. We can handle that. So the AI assistant is going to draft this note as soon as the meeting is done. And the next step is to get that note into your CRM. I'm using Wealthbox as an example in this demo, but it would work essentially the same for any of the CRMs that we're connected with. So the advisor would click here. They would simply select the contact that they want to attach the note to, and then they can edit the note, make sure that they like it before it's permanent, and then just click Update Wealthbox Now or Update Salesforce or Redtail, and that note's going to go ahead and save into the CRM. This will work in Salesforce with custom objects, custom fields, a lot of flexibility with where you want the note to be saved, can generally accommodate those things. So that's the core note. We've got two other things that we do with the note. The first is this Ask Anything feature. So if you're familiar with ChatGPT, this is a similar experience. It's kind of like a mini ChatGPT that only understands this one meeting. And so, as an example, list the client's goals and concerns about their future. That's going to go into the data that's in the meeting, and it's going to go ahead and bring out a summary. The goal here is really just to make it easy for you or for an assistant or paraplanner to quickly find answers without having to go and dig through the transcript or dig through the recording. We do provide the transcript and the recording if that's something that you want to do. So you've got the whole thing here for reference, but most people just try to use the summaries. So that's Ask Anything. The next piece that we do is we create these data tables. And so what's happening here is the AI assistant is listening for any financial planning related data, and it's essentially capturing that and then putting it into this table. This is a dynamic table. So for example, if crypto is not discussed in the meeting, you would not see that row. The table is essentially created on the fly based on the contents of the meeting. And the goal here is really just to give you a cheat sheet of all of the facts and figures that were discussed during the meeting for reference when you're done and reviewing things. We do a similar thing for suitability or fiduciary impacting information. Topics like time horizon, changes in financial situation. We're going to capture those, and then that hopefully will make it easy as you're doing your annual client review to compare what you had down for them in the past and make sure that nothing material has changed in their profile. So those are all the different tools that we have for taking notes. And again, very customizable if you want to change the format of the notes, how long, how short, how detailed, etc. The next thing that the assistant can do is draft a recap email. And similar to the notes, this is completely customizable. This is just one example. It kind of follows here's what we talked about, here's what we're currently focused on, here's what you need to do, here are the next steps for our relationship. Totally customizable. And what's happening behind the scenes is the AI assistant is writing all of this as original content, but it's based on what happened in the meeting, and it's also based on some sort of example that's been provided in the instructions to help the AI assistant know what to do. And you can have those completely customizable. You can also have different templates and different note formats, different email formats, depending on the type of meeting that you are doing. So what happens during onboarding is we define the different types of meetings that you hold on a regular basis. And then the AI assistant, when the recording comes in, it'll classify the meeting and fit it into one of those meeting types. And then it'll run the proper automations based on the meeting type. So you can see as an example here, for a client meeting, it's going to generate a follow-up task. It's going to draft a recap email. It's going to run the meeting analysis and get those data tables. And it's also going to do a meeting note that can get pushed into CRM. The next piece is tasks. So during the meeting, the AI assistant is listening for action items, to-dos, and other tasks. And then it's going to develop a task list. For each of those tasks, it's going to create one of these smart task cards. So all of these items that you see here are based on the conversation. And these are editable, so you can open up the task, you can see what the AI assistant has created in terms of description and the title. You can change the names, you can assign to others on your team, change the due date. The assistant will try to assign a due date based on the conversation. You can remove tasks that aren't relevant. And then once you're ready and happy with that task list, you simply can decide which tasks you want to push into your CRM, pick which client you want to relate that to, and then go ahead and click save, and those tasks will flow into your CRM. They show up as tasks in Salesforce, tasks in Wealthbox, and activities in Redtail. This is the task feature as it stands. In the future, if you use workflows or other types of automations in your CRM, we're working on being able to kick off those types of workflows from jump. So you can imagine if you've got 4 tasks that come out of a meeting, maybe 3 of those are aligned to predetermined workflows. And so you would essentially be able to click on the task card, kick off the workflow, and then for those tasks that are not associated with the workflow, push those over as standalone tasks. And that's how we're trying to make it easier to go from conversation to task list to moving everything forward as far as follow-up goes. The last feature that I'll show you is pre-call prep. And so the way that that works is the assistant prepares a one-pager for your upcoming meeting. The way that it does that is it looks at your calendar, it figures out who you're going to meet with next, it goes into your CRM and pulls out old notes and email exchanges and other details that you have about that contact, and then summarizes those things into this one-pager. This is also customizable, so you can change the topics here, change the focus, but just to give you some examples, client goals, what matters to them, upcoming life events, the last meeting, or you could do the last few meetings. If you have emails synced to your CRM, it could also take into account recent emails, who's in the household, hobbies and interests, and then conversation starters. So the example here is ask Pedro how he feels about the upcoming transition of his business to his son. That's appearing there based on some old note in the CRM. So that is the primary feature set now. I'll also mention that if you have a team that includes advisors, junior advisors, assistants, paraplanners, we have tools to be able to set that up so that you can collaborate on these meetings if you would like to, and make that easier for more of an ensemble approach. I will also mention that if you have, let's say you're in Salesforce and you've got a bunch of custom objects set up, we can accommodate those. So we can attach to custom objects, custom fields. Those things can be mapped. And then the last thing I'll mention is if you've got specific fields in your CRM that you want to update, we can actually map suggestions to those individual fields. So for example, if you've got a field to track net worth and that comes up during the meeting, the AI assistant can pull that data point from the call, net worth with a dollar amount. And then when you update CRM, it can actually save that value into the CRM with the goal of making data entry much easier. So this is the current feature set, working on a lot more interesting things as we go. I will just walk you through kind of typical terms and pricing for how we work with advisors. So you get access to Jump. That includes the core AI assistant with all of the different automations. It also includes the web app and the mobile app if you want to use that for in-person meetings. That also includes integrations, so integration with your calendar, with all of your meeting software, with your CRM. If you don't have a CRM that we connect to, there's workarounds where you can copy and paste values in. We're also always open to considering connecting with new CRMs, so just let us know. And our team's pretty good at doing integrations quickly, so we may be able to just do the integration for you. So then we get to onboarding, and the way that that works is we set you up with defaults, so you can start using Jump right away. And then after a week or so, you'll have some ideas about how you want to customize the notes and the emails and the other outputs to really fit your style. And so then we do an onboarding call, have you answer some questions about how you want to use the tool, gather some examples from you with email templates and note templates, and then we iterate with you over time until we really dial that in and you're happy with that output. We've tried to price Jump in a way that if you were to compare it to hiring a human assistant to come in and actually do all of this scribing for you and drafting all these emails and notes and data tables and task lists, we hope that Jump would be significantly, probably 10 times cheaper than doing that. We're currently charging somewhere between $100 to $200 per advisor per month, and that range is just really depending on how complex you want your setup to be, what your firm makeup is like. For example, for a solo advisor, it's going to be much closer to that $100 end of the range. If you've got a really complicated Salesforce setup and you want to run a lot of automations after each call, then that's where that would start going up. We also have an optional seat for non-advisors. So this would be for assistants or paraplanners or others that need to get in and access the data and do work after the meeting's done, but they don't need to record or run their own custom AI automations. So we are currently doing typically an annual commitment. So you would sign up for a year, but we allow you to cancel at any time during the first 90 days. And so we want to make sure it's a good fit. We want to make sure you're getting out what you need. So that's Jump today. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. We'd love to get you in and have you try it out and see what you think. Thanks.